"Wow, looking good," Mike said as he saw John walk into the office one morning. "That's a great-looking suit. You must have an important meeting today. Where did you get it?" John smiled. "No, the missus got it for me. It's pretty nice, made up of exceptionally fine wool, the kind, you get from stores I don't ever shop in. Do you know where she got it?" John chuckled. "I don't know, and I'm not one to look a gift horse in the mouth." He shrugged. "I just came home from work early the other day, and there it was, hanging over the chair in the bedroom." A young couple is on their honeymoon. The husband is sitting in the bathroom on the edge of the bathtub, thinking to himself, "Now, how can I tell my wife that I've got really smelly feet and that my socks absolutely stink? I've managed to keep it from her while we were dating, but she's bound to find out sooner or later that my feet stink. Now, how do I tell her?" Meanwhile, the wife is sitting on the bed thinking to herself, "Now, how do I tell my husband that I've got really bad breath? I've been very lucky to keep it from him while we were courting, but as soon as he's lived with me for a week, he's bound to find out. Now, how do I tell him gently?" The husband finally gets up enough courage to tell his wife and walks into the bedroom. He walks over to the bed, climbs over to his wife, puts his arm around her, moves his face very close to hers and says, "Darling, I've got a confession to make." She says, "So have I, love," to which he replies, "Don't tell me. You've eaten my socks." A cab driver reaches the pearly gates and announces his presence to St. Peter, who looks him up in his big book. Upon reading the entry for the cabbie, St. Peter invites him to grab a silk robe and a golden staff and to proceed into heaven. A preacher is next in line behind the cabbie and has been watching these proceedings with interest. He announces himself to St. Peter. Upon scanning the preacher's entry in the big book, St. Peter furrows his brow and says, "Okay, we'll let you in. But take that cloth robe and wooden staff." The preacher is astonished and replies, "But I am a man of the cloth. You gave that cab driver a gold staff and a silk robe. Surely I rate higher than a cabbie." St. Peter responded quite matter-of-factly, "Here we are interested in results. When you preached, people slept. When the cabbie drove his taxi, people prayed." Christmas was coming, and Mr. Johnny's mom and dad took him to the mall to see Santa Claus. Johnny walked up and sat on Santa's lap and said, "Santa, for Christmas, I want a bloomin' darn new baseball bat, and I want it to be put under my bloomin' darn bed. I want a bloomin' darn new baseball glove, and I want it put under the bloomin' darn Christmas tree. And Santa, I want a bloomin' darn new bike, and I want it put under a bloomin' darn tarp in the bloomin' darn shed." Santa, in complete shock, pulled Mr. Johnny's parents aside and said, "In all my years, I have never seen a little boy with such a foul mouth." His parents replied, "We know, but we have no idea what to do about his behavior. We've tried everything." Santa thought about it and said, "Here's what we'll do to teach him a lesson. Every place that Johnny asked for a present, we'll put a pile of dog poop." The parents agreed to try Santa's plan. On Christmas morning, Mr. Johnny woke up and immediately looked under his bed. Seeing the pile of poop, he ran downstairs to the Christmas tree and checked underneath. Finding another pile of poop under the tree, he ran out the door and threw open the shed door. Finding a tarp in the shed, he quickly pulled back the tarp and found yet another pile of poop. Johnny walked out of the shed and started looking all around the yard. After a while, his parents asked him, "So, Mr. Johnny, what did you get for Christmas?" Without missing a beat, Johnny looked at his parents and said, "I think I got a bloomin' darn dog, but I can't find the bloomin' darn thing." A woman and a baby were in the doctor's examination room, waiting for the doctor to come in for the baby's first exam. The doctor arrived, examined the baby, and checked his weight. Being a little concerned, He asked if the baby was breastfed or bottle-fed. Breastfed, the woman replied. Well, strip down to your waist, the doctor ordered. She did. He pinched her nipples, then pressed, kneaded, and rubbed both breasts for a while in a detailed examination. Motioning to her to get dressed, he said, "No wonder this baby is underweight. You don't have any milk." "I know," she said. "I'm his grandma. But I'm glad I came." A man was always thinking up ways of making easy money, and one day he thought he was on to a certainty. He taught his parrot to say the 23rd Psalm and then took it down the local pub. "I bet anyone £5 my parrot can recite the 23rd Psalm from beginning to end," he said. Quite a lot of interest was shown, and a pile of money quickly went down on the bar. "Go on then, parrot, recite the psalm." Sadly, the parrot remained completely dumb, and eventually the man took it home, having lost quite a lot of money. "Why the bloody hell didn't you do as I taught you, you scrawny old bird?" "Now hold on," said the parrot. "Think what the odds will be tomorrow when we go back." A man rushes into a bar and says, "Quick, give me a pint of lager." No sooner does he finish that drink, he orders a whiskey and slams it down. As fast as the bartender is pouring the drinks, the man is knocking them back, one after the other. The bartender says, "Are you okay, buddy?" "What's brought this on?" the man replies. "Man, I should not be drinking all this with what I've got." "Holy smokes," replies the bartender. "What have you got?" The man replies, "About $5. A woman had been away for 2 days visiting a sick friend in another town. When she returned, her little boy greeted her by saying, "Mommy, guess what? Yesterday I was playing in the closet in your bedroom, and Daddy came into the room with the lady next door, and they got undressed and got into your bed. And then Daddy got on top of her." Sonny's mother held up her hand. "Not another word. Wait until your father comes home, and then I want you to tell him exactly what you've just told me." The father came home. As he walked into the house, his wife said, "I'm leaving you. I'm packing now and I'm leaving you." "But why?" asked the startled father. "Go ahead, Sonny. Tell Daddy just what you told me." "Well," Sonny said, "I was playing in your bedroom closet, and Daddy came upstairs with the lady next door, and they got undressed and got into bed, and Daddy got on top of her. And then they did just what you did with Uncle John when Daddy was away last summer.